Good morning, everyone. I hope, well, it's actually afternoon for you that are over on the east coast of the USA, but to everyone else from around the world, hello to you for your day. Thanks for joining me here in the Healers Conference. What a fantastic day it's been for everyone. So, prior to my coming on to have a chat with you, you would have seen Kay Hamilton, who is a friend of mine from the east coast of Australia. In fact, she's in Tasmania. And Kay was talking to you about courage, building courage, and being able to center yourself and using some beautiful oils to be able to connect in deeper with yourself. And I also heard Kay talking about some beautiful wind chimes. The thing is about these awesome elements that we have available to us, they all stem from nature. The wind chimes sing their song through nature. The magnificent oils that you can find all around the world originate from nature. And Lisa and I were just talking about ways to be able to sleep better, be able to feel better through natural herbs. And some herbs, as we know, can be smoked, they can be eaten, they can be drank as tea, but again, they are nature. So the thing is, we are nature. We are a big part of that cosmos. So if you look at yourself as being a part of nature, you can actually draw in all the energy and all of what is called the vibration that you need to be able to live what I call a glorious life or a harmonious life. You see, when you are in harmony within yourself, all of your physical organs work at optimal health. But the greater part of that picture is that when you are in harmony in yourself, you're also in harmony with nature. The importance of that is that when you are in harmony with nature, you have a far greater source of energy. You become a greater source of energy in yourself. And what difference does that make to your life? Huge difference. When you are in that space of being able to not only be your own source of energy from within the vibration that you are, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about that in a moment, but when you are able to be in harmony with nature, you have only to look at the power of nature to see just how much energy you can draw from there. So when you are aligned with nature and you draw your energy from nature and you combine it with your own resonance, your own vibration, you can shift anything in your life. Before coming on today, I was thinking about how I would share with you my story of how I come to know that I was a healer, a seer, a sage. Um, I don't particularly resonate with these terms, but some people have an understanding of them. So psychic, clairvoyant, and I've been called those things over the years, but I must admit they don't sit well with me. The other one is medium. So I was thinking about how I could share with you the experiences that I had. And I was thinking about how I used to be able to call in the wind. And it seemed to be a natural thing for me to do when I was a child. I would call in the wind. And I would use the wind to clear away people's energy that I didn't want near me or that I was feeling upset with as a child. And I didn't know how I was able to do that because I was a child. But it just seemed to be an integral thing for me, a natural thing. And that's how it's been for me through my life. I've just done what is natural to me. So back to nature. We are nature. We are a great component of nature. If you have a look at people's gardens, even plants in their home, you can see where that person's energy is, how well they are, how harmonious they are in their life according to their garden. You know, they say for children that if they feel unsafe when they're walking home, walking to the shops or to school, that they are to go to a house that has a very lush garden. Can you think why that might be? They tell children to go only to the houses that have a lush garden. And they teach the children, that's here, I don't know about in your countries, but that's here. They teach the children that a home with a lush garden, a garden that is being tended and loved and cared for, is going to be a house that is safe for them because it will have people in there that are loving, kind, and caring. You can do some amazing little experiments on a plant and even with water, and you can check where your energy is and where are you in your own harmony and therefore with nature, because the water and the plant will respond to your energy. So you can actually make that plant flourish. You can make that water have a whole different, I'm going to say, texture in your mouth. And that might sound really strange given it's water. But if you were to do some energetic experiments with water, you would come to find what I mean. You will also be able to see that the water can change color according to you, according to your energy. So if you're looking to learn more about how you can be your own healer, because you are, but many people are very distracted away from their natural innate nature connection and connection to their higher self, connection to their own energy. And they're distracted through the way that we have been created to be through this world. But if you want to go home again to that innate part of yourself, begin by aligning with nature and begin by tending to plants and having some fun with water. Did you know that you can shift the vibration of water by the word that you write on a container? You see, every time you look at that word, you will extend, you will naturally extend the vibration that belongs to that word. You're very powerful. You're incredibly powerful. It's just that you've been disempowered for a long time. But many of you who are here may very well have that stirring and that sense within you that's going, I know there's more to this. I know there's more to me than this. I know there's more that I can do, but you just haven't quite connected the dots. Not quite sure which part of the puzzle you're to move or to put in there. So beginning with nature and starting to align yourself with nature is a great place to start. Then expanding your energy out to see how you can call in the wind, how you can shift a breeze. If I sound really odd, but you can do it. You are extremely empowered. You are extremely powerful. Now, I want to come to those of you who feel that you know things before they happen, or you see things that you're not able to freely express to others. And there's one really important component that I would like you to take away today, and that is it doesn't need to be explained to anyone else. Because whatever it is that you can feel, whatever it is that you are able to see, once you have aligned yourself with nature and maybe use some of the tools that are available to you, like the oils, incense, chimes, bells, prayer, intention, meditation, quiet breath. You connect yourself to your higher self and to the higher divine. And once you are aligned in that manner, you receive the answers of what it is that you're wanting to know more about. So, for those of you who can see things that are not tangible in this world, you haven't lost the plot and you really don't need to explain it to anyone else. Now, I've worked with a lot of people over nearly 40 years, or is it 41 now? It's a long time, that have ended up being diagnosed with some form of mental illness, such as multiple personality, schizophrenia, manic depressive, lots of very serious diagnoses. But it's come down to the fact that they, since being very young, have been able to hear voices, see things that other people could not see. And because they've been very young, they have spoken about it or they have reacted to those situations. And of course, for the others around them who are not in any way connected to their own personal power and not connected to anything beyond what can be seen here, they make the decision that there is something wrong with that child, with that young person, and sadly, even with an adult. So, what I'm saying to you here is it is important to reach out if you are being traumatized, if you are finding it really difficult with these things. But if you are okay and you're able to center yourself and you're able to spend time in quiet space, in silence, you will find your answers and you will find the peace to be able to understand what it is. And then as you become more courageous, as you become more centered in your power, you will find that you can not only manage it better, but then you can start to talk to people about what it is that you're experiencing. And I can tell you that you will always be selective with who you talk to about what you can see, what you can hear. And that is a way to remain always. Be very discerning with whom you speak to. But the big thing here, and what I want to share with you about that, is from my own learning, because I could see spirit, in inverted brackets, ghosts. I could see other things that I certainly could not understand what on earth they were. From the age of 4 is where my recall goes back to. So going to bed for me at night was terrifying. And I used to leap from the doorway of my bedroom or get a run up and then leap to my bed because of what I could see on the floor, under my bed. And my mum used to say, don't be silly, there's no monsters. Anybody ever heard that? Don't be silly, just go to bed, there's no monsters. Well, I became a champion long jumper at school, and I figure it was because of the way I used to jump from the door to my bed, but I was only a little girl at the time. So I also learnt then that I couldn't even say anything to my parents. So I would just be horrified with what I could see and didn't know. But there was this part of me that knew I would be all right. There was this tremendous strength I could feel within, but I couldn't explain it. I didn't know where it came from. I do now, and I have done for a long time, but as a child, I didn't. And then when I was going to school, we came to the city because I lived in the country, and we came to the city for an excursion. So we came on a long bus ride, and we were heading towards one of the most original museums was at the time in a southern suburb of the Perth city. The suburb's actually Fremantle. And I was looking at the building and I was very drawn to the building. I could feel as if I was being drawn to it energetically, and of course as a child I wouldn't express it that way, but I felt there was a thing, a something that was wanting me to go there to connect with it. And when I looked to the window, I looked up to the particular window where I felt I needed to look. There was a woman, a young woman, in what I will call period dress. She had the high collar, the ruffle lace. This was all lace around here. She was beautiful. She was very young, and she looked straight at me. And I was really quite excited. And I said to my fellow classmates, "There's a ghost up there." Well, that was the worst thing I could have said. I was mocked and made fun of for the rest of the day, the rest of the trip. And then the next day at school, I was poked fun at, and it just went on and on. And of course, being only a very young, still a young child, I was hurt by that. And I didn't feel like I had friends after that. Weird things would happen. So I began to feel very isolated and not really wanted or accepted because of the names I was called and things. So that one occasion of excitedly expressing there's a ghost up there was very costly to me. So I learned to be quiet very quickly about what I could see. And then many years later, as a teenager, I remember being at my then girlfriend's place, finally had some friends by then, few, and I started to sing a song. And within a couple of lines of me singing the song, it came on the radio. And she said to me, "You know, you scare people. You scare people a lot." And I said, "Oh, what did I do?" And she said, "Well, you sang that song and then it came on the radio, and you do things like that a lot. You say things and then they happen, or you say something that someone else was going to say." And she was the first one that sort of alerted me to something I was not aware of. I just did what came naturally to me, and it came at a very high cost. And she told me that that's why a lot of, and I was at high school at this stage, but she told me that's why a lot of the other students didn't really like to hang around with me. I went, oh, so there you go. So from age 8 right through, and I'd wonder why I wasn't really popularity queen at school. Not that I ever wanted to be, I might say, but it started to sort of make sense. So I learned again, reinforced that simple things that were natural to me, I just couldn't share with other people. So if you find that you are in a similar space, or you feel that you know something is going to happen, or you can sense what someone's going to talk about, you may like to just sit back on your heels with it for a little bit, but just know that that is because that is the power of you. You have amazing power. And what I would really like to encourage you to do is learn to become that power within nature so that you can remain strong, and you can also remain very connected to the truth of yourself, to the divine, the creator. With nature, you're able to feel a greater sense of that power that you have, and without needing to explain yourself. If I move forward now into becoming a nurse, in my years of nursing, I saw many souls leave the body. I also saw many lost souls, spirit, ghosts, whatever you want to call them, walking around. And I'll tell you straight, I did not like being on night duty, especially on the wards where there were terminally ill patients, or long-term chronically ill that were going to pass away, because nighttime they all seemed to come out to play, and there would be so many of them. And I learnt very quickly that they knew I could see them. And that became a whole new challenge for me, because before that, I didn't know that those who are highly ascended, those who are ascended masters, angels, the other side of angels, demons, if you want to call them that, other beings, ghosts, restless souls. Now, they're not all the same, they're different levels of life or experience of beings. They could see me and knew that I could see them. Well, that certainly turned the tables for me, and it became a whole new experience. So then again, that innate sense of myself that I would be okay, that I was all right, for me to see them and them to see me, that just knowing made me feel safe. I never felt scared. If they snuck up on me, they would give me a fright, just as I would if I went boo to you. But I didn't have a fear of them, and I didn't need to, and neither do you. And I also did not need to share that with anyone else. But the thing is, I wasn't troubled by being able to hear them. I wasn't troubled by being able to see them, and therein is a difference. If there are any of you watching and you are troubled by what you can see, what you can hear, and you can't disseminate what it is, then I really urge you to reach out to someone who understands. Now, I'm a natural born seer. I'm not a learned seer, and there is a difference. So I understand, and I also understand what it's like to hear the voices and to know the difference as to who it is that's speaking to me. I know how to find out who it is that's speaking, and also how to stop it. I've had many parents bring their children to me to close them down. Now, it's no one's right to close that gift down. No one's. What I can do is teach the child, same as what I did myself, to keep them away and to be able then to live their own life in harmony. And that's really important. These things can be very troubling. I used to like to sneak up on a psychologist friend of mine when I would go to business networking events, and she would be waiting in line, and I would sneak up behind her and whisper, "I hear voices." And she would laugh her head off and say, "One of these days they're going to put you away." And we would have this little joke. And then it turned out that she was raised in the Salvation Army. Her father was a minister for the Salvation Army. And she said, he used to do strange things, and we would hear him doing odd prayers, and we would see him saying that he was just tidying up this space. And she said, as kids, they didn't really understand what he was doing, but as they come to be adults, they come to find that her father was able to hear and see. And of course, he would never talk about that to his congregation, but he would deal with it and work with it. So when it is a case of being the natural seer, the natural ability to hear and see, I sense, smell, taste, hear, see. So all 5 or 6 of my senses are highly evolved, if you like, for want of a better word. And there is a difference in having that be a natural occurrence to learning to connect with spirit, and then you cultivate. So if you go to learn to connect, make sure you learn with someone who is really, really experienced and can guide you safely in that experience. So over my lifetime, my experience with spirit souls that have left their physical self has been nothing short of incredible. absolutely amazing. And also with visitations with angels and higher beings and other beings, interplanetary beings, and so forth. And it's been an incredible journey. So if it's something that you feel is happening for you, but you're not sure what to do with it, how to work with it, whether you should even work with it, then please do reach out so that you can live aligned and in harmony with yourself and with what your mission is here or your purpose is here. At the moment in the world, and in the world, it's really been for the last probably 5 years, there's been a lot more disturbance in the world, between the worlds. So there's a lot more mental interference with people. And if they are susceptible to hearing voices or sensing things that can't be seen, this has been a very difficult time for them. And it's truly, I must urge everyone to reach out and learn to be reconnected to yourself so that you don't get caught up in that energy and really pulled away from your truth, from who you are, because it can happen. And that's where we see the likes of mental interference. On a lighter, brighter, beautiful note, being a healer or being able to be the conduit of healing energy it's simply divine. It is amazing. For myself, I know that my right hand is my giving hand for the energy, to be able to receive the energy in the left, and I bring it out through the right, and sometimes I will use both. But right now, this hand is really, I will say the word that comes to mind is throbbing, but it's not throbbing like a toothache. It's a beautiful sense of the energy. And I'm going to say that's because someone who is watching, you have trouble with your right shoulder. And I would like to extend this energy to you and also to say, free your heart, because any disturbance in the shoulders is because the heart chakra, and can be the physical heart, is overloaded. It's burdened with sorrow, with heaviness, with grief, with sadness, broken heart, lost love, all of the things that belong to the heart. And you are carrying a lot of heaviness in your heart. When you release that, make peace with it, your shoulder will ease up. So with this hand, I know that I can bring through the most amazing healing energy, peaceful energy. It is simply divine, and it's such an honor. It is something I don't take lightly, and I have the greatest of reverence and respect for. I do not mess around with this energy. I would never misuse it. Now, the exciting part of that, well, not that that's not exciting, but the exciting part of that is that I also learned very young, because I could feel this strange energy. I wouldn't use that word as a child. I didn't know what it was. I just knew that there was this amazing sensation that I could feel in my hands. And I learned very early that I could make what I would describe to you now as an energy ball. You see, when I would watch Bewitched, my favourite show as a kid, I just knew that I could do all that. Just knew. I didn't need to twitch my nose. I just knew that I could do the things I was watching, but I didn't know how come. It just felt natural to me. So I learnt that I could work with this incredible energy in my hands, and I could move people away from me. I could shift things around me with this. It's absolutely incredibly powerful. And you can learn to work with that energy the same. And again, through spirit, through nature. Nature is your safest place to go. So, learning to feel into your own energetic field is the first place to begin. learning to sense just how strong your energy is and where you can take it to, how far out. These are things that you can do to learn more about that infinite, endless, eternal power that you are. And it's amazing to do. So, if, for example, you had neck pain, knee pain, hip pain, when you learn to work with your own energy, and as you're working with your own energy, which is full of healing energy naturally, as you are doing that, you can treble that power by calling in the healing energy of the divine. Now, for me, that is God. I am not religious, but it is because of the connections that I've had throughout my life and the visitations. For you, it will be whatever works for you. Just make sure that you know who you align to and you know what energy you are calling in. So, and just one thing I'm going to say there is to use the word the universe. Well, I hope that you understand and have a complete and full understanding of what the universe is and what is in the universe. If you are going to call in the universe, you want to be able to understand who it is, what it is you are calling in. So for me, working with this energy, I would call in divine light, divine energy, purest of God's light. And then wherever I have the discord, the disturbance, the pain in my body, I would then place my right hand over it first and then my left hand. Now you may be the opposite. Your receiving hand may be your left hand. So it would be your left hand over the part of your body first, followed by your right. You allow your arms to go soft and then let yourself close your eyes softly like silken blinds and feel that energy and release. When you are done, you release the energy. Otherwise, it'll be pulsating all through you all day and you'll feel like a Christmas tree on high alert. So you rid yourself of the energy. You may want to use water. You may want to go and stand out on the lawn, go and stand out under a tree. If you stand out under a tree, please give thanks to the tree. I've had a wonderful time teaching people how to connect with the spirit of a tree. And the people that have done it have been just blown away with their experience. It is a living being. There is an owner of the tree. There is a beautiful tree spirit present. And they will connect with you and they will offer their energy. They will remove stagnant energy for you. So, if somebody did something nice for you, you would say thank you. So if you're dealing with a tree, a plant, say thank you. Same thing, kindness. Kindness goes a long way in nature, just as it does with other people. So learning to be your own healer really is very simple, and you are a powerful, amazing healer in your own right. If you want to learn more about connecting to your higher self, connecting to the divine so that you can actually hear and receive your messages, please reach out. That is something that I thoroughly enjoy teaching. If you want to know more about living a harmonious, enlightened, aligned life, that's my passion. That is what I absolutely revel in teaching people to be able to do. You didn't come here to this world to live in a little light. You have a huge light within you, and it stems, and I call it your eternal flame of life. It resides in your solar plexus. Funny, you would think it was your heart, wouldn't you? But it resides right in the center of you. And if you think of a candle flame, you didn't come to be a little tiny candle flame. Your eternal flame of life is magnificent, and the world deserves to see it. They don't have to see everything about you, but they deserve to see the beauty of your light. And when your eternal flame of life is free It has freedom to expand. It has freedom to transcend. Then it naturally transforms and it's able to open your life up like the unfolding of a lotus flower. Lotus flower is over 1,000 petals. So you could have 1,000 lifetimes to come and enjoy opening yet another petal, yet another petal. But you'll do that the more expansive that your eternal flame is. It's not always easy to be able to feel that your flame, your eternal flame of life, is expansive. But what I'd like you to remember today is that it's never to be this small. And most importantly, your eternal flame of life can never be extinguished. Never. It's eternal. It can be dimmed down, it can be dulled down because of our life experience, because of circumstance around you, perhaps sickness, illness. But when you go home to yourself and embrace the power that you are, and you reconnect to that power and learn to feel your energy and learn to play with your energy and then use it to heal, you can free yourself. When you free your physical self, your eternal flame of life is free to glow and grow. And it's free to be that magnificent flame that stands strong. And it is what brings you courage. It is what brings you peace and calm. You see, when you are in harmony with yourself, your body, your physical body, which is the house of your soul for this life, it's able to work for you in harmony. So it's able to work for you in the way that you need it to, which means it's not going to be encumbered in pain, in illness, in disease. I mentioned to someone yesterday that many years ago, I had 3 bouts of what is called influenza A. And when I went to my GP at the time, I haven't been to a doctor for, good Lord, I can't even tell you how many years now. I went to him, and the reason I would ever go was to confirm my own diagnosis. Okay, so I have my nursing background and I understand different diagnoses and how to do them, but it's from my innate knowing that I diagnose, because I can talk to my body and find out where things aren't working properly or what the problem is. So this dreadful sickness that I'd had, I went to him and said, I think I was going to die. And I felt dreadful. And he said, well, he laughed and he said, well, Gwenda, you've had influenza A and thousands of people die of that every year. So he thought it was funny that I used the term, I thought I was going to die. I went, interesting. So I went away then and went to what I've shown you today and placed my hand instinctively over my heart. And you'd be thinking, but you just said you had influenza A. Why would you put your hand over your heart? Because that's what influenza and any chest issues is about grief, sorrow, sadness, loss. As soon as I made peace with the grief that I was carrying, I was back to full health, just like I'd never had that flu. And I've done that numerous times with different things. When I busted my cruciate ligament doing kickboxing aerobics, healed that. Patella issues, healed that. Back, what did I have? A dripping disc, leaking disc in my back, healed that. And you can do the same. You are a powerful healer in your own right. Where it needs to come home to first is that eternal flame of life. and not letting anyone else dim your light or make it smaller than it naturally is. You see, our eternal flame of life is where all our wisdom resides, it's where our magic resides, and I use magic in the term of the highest of healing, not magic in any other form. Magic is special. So, being able to step into your own magic, meaning that incredible divine being that you are from a soul level, your eternal flame of life is magnificent. And when you expand your eternal flame of life, not only does your life change, your health changes, your physical self changes. How would you like to be able to drop weight like that? You can. There's a few steps to it, but you can. Can't really eat Macca's or Burger King every day, right? You can't have 17 coffees with 16 sugars in each one, but there are things you can do, and you can drop your weight just like that. You can change your body shape. It's really amazing because it all comes back to what's being carried within you on a cellular level, and it also comes back to is where is your eternal flame of life? Where is that beautiful flame that you came to experience in this world, but what it can bring to this world? So when your eternal flame of life is bright and it's beautiful and big, expansive, so that it is transformative, it's transcending, it's illuminating, then you shift the world around you. And you will find that nature around you is different. You will find that people around you is different. And if I use that word magic again, you will find it's magic what you can do when you can call in the wind and when you can change things that are going on around the neighborhood. It is all energetic. And always remembering that the power that drives your energy in this life is your thoughts and your words. So, whatever intent you have with your words are either healing or breaking. They're either inspiring and uplifting or they're destructive and harmful. So, your power, and this affects your eternal flame of life tremendously. So, if your thoughts are not of the highest level that align with your eternal flame of life, with your soul, then your flame will diminish. It will be down because your soul and that magnificence of soul doesn't know anything except unconditional love and pure joy. And we certainly have a hard time finding all of that in this life, don't we? So many people seem to search endlessly for that special love, for feeling like they have joy or happiness in their life, when in fact, it is all we are. It is what we know. So for you today, I hope that you will go and really enjoy learning about your energy or stepping out into nature. And if you're in need of a bit of healing, I can promise you that having sat with me now, you will have received healing light because that's what I do. You might like to go out and connect with nature to align yourself and bring that harmony, bring that joy into yourself, and then share it with the world. So I'm Gwenda Smith, healer, seer, wise sage, spiritual teacher, and I'm located in Perth, Western Australia, but it has been such a joy to be here with you today and to be joined in with all of the other beautiful healers that Lisa has brought forward to the world for everyone today. So you can find me at healwithgwenda.com is my website. You can also find the Heal with Gwenda page on Facebook. I do have a spiritual Facebook page just called Gwenda Smith, but you'll find that the most of my work is on the Heal with Gwenda. And I'd love to see you join the community or reach out if I can be of any help to you.